Hello, and welcome, my Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your romantic soulmate read for June, July 2020, or timeless. I am your reader for the moment, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, and Venus in Libra sign. Yay! Ready to dive in? Before we get cards on the table, a couple of things let's get out of the way. Number one, if you are new to my channel, please do consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell, and commenting in the comment section below, as all of that stuff helps other people get my information, the information that I'm giving, technically not mine, I am but the channel through which it comes, as well as remember, this is a general reading. Please take what resonates, leave what does not. Check your other signs. That's why I'm doing Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs for these, and only doing a 15 card spread, trying to keep them a little bit shorter than I used to before the world changed drastically and everybody glommed onto the internet, making upload times really slow, but that's the price of progress, I suppose. So please do take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs. This is a soulmate contract read. We're going to be reading it like a contract in a sense between you and your soulmate contract partner. There are a couple of links in the description box you might want to check out if you are new to my channel. My definition of soulmate and twin flame and soulmate contract and soul contract, a little bit different from what's going on out there. The bottom line of a soulmate contract, to put a fine point on it, is that you help each other heal. Period. That's it. The romantic stuff, right? My mother and I have a soulmate contract. You have more than one. They're not all romantic sexual. But these readings are about the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, satisfying, sexual, romantic soulmate contracts that we've been working on for lifetimes, right? Considering the state of psychology where it's been for the past 1,000 years, I think we're doing relatively well. That being said, let's dive in and have a look at this. We're not doing Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine this time. We are doing the first Caroline Myss archetype card, and the second will be for you, the Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, the other for your soulmate partner. Cool? So it takes out all that guesswork. Which am I? Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, because since we're all both, right? And we're going to layer a Celtic cross spread, a 10-card spread on top of that with 3 extra cards to clarify, making 15 cards total. Cool. So if you will focus on your breath, staying in the present moment, you'll be able to take what resonates, leave what does not. I will do the same to bring you through the clarity, guidance, and grace that I've been training my entire life to give here at this point. So let's do this. We're going to start, as I said, with the Caroline Myss archetype decks. All the decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom. That's an awful lot of exposition to now get down to biz. So shall we? Nice, deep breath. And here we go. Please, my collective pantheons. Oh, my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please. I need 2 cards, one for the Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this soulmate contract, as well as their soulmate contract partner. So please, who is the Libra? What is their dominant archetype in this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, soulmate contract for June, July 2020, or timeless? What's the Libra's dominant archetype? Interesting. Please, while we're here, who is their soulmate contract partner? Same contract, who's their partner? What's their dominant archetype? You're going to like yours. It's very Libra in a way. Remember, archetypes are neutral, both light and gold. Lead and gold is shadow and light. This relationship structure of soulmate contract, helping each other heal. You're helping each other alchemize the lead to gold, healing, bringing the shadow to light. We've got the seeker and the advocate, the wisdom family and the action family. Loving these 2 together a lot, because they can very much be about a pursuit of something, and if they are pursuing each other, all the better. The shadow attribute for the seeker archetype, which is you, my Libra, inability to commit to a path once found. Now that does make sense for Libras, because y'all can be a little indecisive. I have Venus in Libra, very familiar with it in terms of long term, right? If it's just like, what do you want for dinner? That's easy. But what color do you want to paint the walls? Well, I don't know. I need a few divination systems and, you know, swatches and a pendulum, right? You know, it's a lot. Like, once you found inability to commit to a path once found, I'm familiar, right? But the light attribute, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. If you're really looking for true love, if you're on the path of true love, this is the reading for you, and this is the soulmate contract for you, one would think, because your partner is the advocate. So you're all about wisdom and truth. They are about compassion, putting it into action, at least in the light. But their shadow attribute, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Not great. The light attribute inspires you to put compassion into action. So this isn't just somebody who sits by feeling bad or empathically feeling for other people. They will take action. And try and at least, different than the Avenger. The Avenger tries to right the scales of balance, right the balance of justice, the scales of justice. But this is more about taking that feeling of love, that wanting to help, that holding a bigger vision for people and putting it into action. So could be a very, very interesting couple, and I'm sure the conversations are very, the intellectual intercourse is just very deep and penetrative. Let's keep going. I love these two. What we're going to do is we're going to take 10, count them, 10 of the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, and we're going to layer on top of this a Celtic cross spread. Very good for the eagle's eye view of a relationship, considering the first card, the card that covers you, will be covering you, the seeker archetype Libra, and the card that crosses you will be this advocate archetype crossing your path. Let's do this. Breathe. My goddesses. Hi, Aphrodite. Hello, Eros. Please, my gods, my goddesses, sacred. We're going to do these one at a time. Celtic cross spread, please, for this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Can we start with first card down? What is the card that covers this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in this soulmate contract, June, July 2020. That is the card that covers. We're going to flip them once we get them all down. What is the card that crosses them in the form of this advocate soulmate contract partner in this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract, June, July 2020, or timeless? What is at the core for both of them in this contract? Where have they been? What's behind them in this contract? What is crowning? The next thing to sort of incarnate, maybe even as this reading unfolds. What is before them on the path? And what's behind them? What's before them on the path of this soulmate contract? What is the lesson? Being that they are both helping each other learn, helping each other heal. What's going on there for this Libra contract from the outside looking in? How does the world view this contract? What is the hopes and fears, the fate and the destiny of this twin flame, soulmate contract, where they are on the path of true love, the hero's journey of it all, and what is the outcome considering this timeline, this lifetime, this quantum thread that I am following here for this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract, June, July 2020. Let's look. Remember, you are the seeker archetype, and the card that covers you is the Aquarian card. Now, that can, of course, point to any Aquarian signs, planets and signs that you might have, but not necessarily so. It can very much mean, though, that you are pulling back, not back, but seeing things from a larger perspective, wanting to be more friendly about this, right? Aquarians are humanitarian, egalitarian. Certainly air signs in that sense that they're thinking about it, right? The internet is a real Aquarian invention, you could say, right? Bringing together all different people from around the world, all in a voice, but like anything else can be used or abused. But for the seeker here, not that you're so much stepping back from your seeking, but seeking a higher perspective, maybe a higher truth, a higher point of view, as well as you might very well be only interested in some aspects, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but in that dry place of, let's just keep this all up in the third eye and the crown right now, and maybe a little bit of the throat. Let's not go any lower than that. Let's keep it friendly. But with this Advocate, the action family of archetype, yeah, you two are probably not together right now then. So that's why maybe the Aquarian thing for you, because for this Advocate archetype, they've got the Hermit, she who rides alone, right? The Kaliach, the crone, riding over, if you can see there, seeing a much larger perspective of Stonehenge, or at least some stone circle, a megalithic somewhere, to really see that larger picture. So you're both in the sky. Now that could mean you're both floating on air, certainly, but that's not what I'm getting here, particularly with that Hermit card, that you're probably not in the same place at the same time, so to speak, physically. So this is right now more of a theoretical relationship, or at least the communication between you. You're sort of doing your own thing. You as a seeker going higher, and the Advocate perhaps going within, putting compassion for themselves into action. Maybe doing a little self-compassion, some self-love, and some healing as a result. What's at the core of this contract? Ace of Cups, Seed of Happiness. This is a soul contract saying that you're going to be given the basics of what you need together. Right now, it's in play. It's already in you, in the subconscious, and at the core of this relationship is the One of Cups, that the two of you have that spark of happy, but depending upon your past, you might not be ready to just invest everything in an ace, so to speak. But it is like an offering of a cup. It's like, you want a drink? Right? This is water. Don't worry, I'm not getting drunk. Not a big drinker. Anyway, but interesting first three down. Where have you been in this contract? Three of Blades. Focus. Now focus on what? Now as a seeker, one can say that you have been seeking truth, right? Focusing on truth that way. For the Advocate, maybe perhaps focused very mentally in terms of how to put their compassion into action in this relationship or in soul contracts in general. Remember, soul contracts, when you get a reading, it doesn't mean necessarily that you've met. You may have. With this Three of Blades in the past, that there's definitely been a focus on relationships in general, is what I'm getting here, but all very, very mental. All right, if you were to transpose this into the Rider-Waite deck, it's the Three of Swords. Nobody likes the Three of Swords because somebody called it heartbreak once and it stuck. Heartbreak would be water, the element of the suit of cups, in my opinion, just saying. But considering Pamela Coleman Smith, when she created that deck for Arthur Waite, if you look at the swords, they all convene at a central point in the heart, but the heart is not broken, it's merely pierced. So I see it as focusing, getting to the heart of the matter intellectually. It's the element of air, not the element of water. It's thought, not emotion. So you've both been focused. You've both definitely been coming from a place of focus. Whether or not you have begun communicating to each other, at this point it's all very mental, but there's an undercurrent of, kind of, you know, like a little bit of a little heart bubble going on there, but you're like you've ever been on a first date and you're drinking champagne and you got to burp, but you can't. It's sort of like that. It's not like you're going to, like, you know, disrupt everything on planet Earth, you know, the earthquakey burp, but earth burp, quake burp, but that thing of like, no, this is just fabulous, right? You're trying not to burp. It's that vibe that I've got going on here. There's a little carbonation in this one. I like it. What's crowning? What's coming in right now is the Learner. For the Seeker, that's wonderful. For the Advocate, maybe they are really learning things through practical experience. This is the Eight of Pentacles. Here you have a crone teaching a maiden how to weave a blanket, and the blanket is here on this side, proving that she's done it before, right? So you two might be in study separately, right? You might be really learning what you have to learn. They're giving me through practical application, like it's not a text lesson, it's a lab. And I don't mean retriever, laboratory retriever. It's like you're actually in play. You're actually in motion. What you are learning is very hands-on, very tactile right now. It feels like when you get together that you're going to be really ready for each other if you have not come together yet. Where are you headed? Be careful. Deception. Now, the Four of Blades in other decks will be called meditation. It will be called rest. In this deck, it is called deception, though it looks like the Two of Swords in most tarot decks. There are two crossed swords under the bench in which she is sitting. So we're looking at usually a self-deception here, which a soulmate contract helps you heal from deception, particularly the self-induced ones. It's one thing if somebody else lies to you and they're very good at it, and out of the goodness of your heart you trust people. That's been my story. But it's the hardest blindfolds to remove are the ones that we've put on ourselves voluntarily, right? Which are often as a result of trauma or surviving trauma. Particularly in relationships, we create certain beliefs that can really blind us too. Well, it must happen this way, or it only happens that way. And as I said before, the state of psychology has evolved so much so quickly over the past, let's say 10, 15 years, that it's really now with online counseling and stuff, the state of psychology and the understanding of codependency and abuse and neglect and all of these healing modalities, that there really is an opportunity for you to help each other heal, but you've both kind of got blinders on. You may not be seeing clearly as a result of a fear of being hurt emotionally. Why do I say that? Air card, air card, air card, literally in your fourth, your first, and your sixth position, which is sort of like a past, present, future. You might be overthinking it, but you, at least, because the Seeker, my Libra, are this crone of blades, you're trying to see it from a higher place, and that might very well eventually reveal the deceptions you have given yourself. Like, I don't feel like the two of you are deceiving each other, but I feel like you're under... Oh, all right. It's one of those things where it's a foot on the gas, a foot on the brake. Now, usually I use that for the element of fire, but it's like, I really hope, but I don't believe, right? It's like the element of fire and the element of air. You need desire, but you also need belief, air and fire, in order for that flame to grow. So it might be that there are some fearful patterns in place belief system-wise about getting your heart broken, about being vulnerable, about being available to the experience no matter what may come of it. Because the Seeker, with that thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are, if you really learn something out of this and gain some wisdom from this relationship, you're usually okay with that. But with this Advocate, inspires them to put compassion into action. This might be something that goes relatively quickly once you two actually meet in physical form. Because right now this all seems very theoretical, with this opportunity, sort of both of you sort of repressing it. And sometimes that's a lovely thing too. It's like, let's not rush this. Don't speak. I heard Diane Weiss bullets over Broadway. Clairvoyance for fun and profit. Oh, what's the lesson? You're going to be struck by lightning. The Tower card. I have a feeling this could very much be a love at first sight thing. This could very much be that lightning has already struck and you're like, you're gonna have to deal with your fear-based beliefs that are penning you in and pinning you down here. There's a radical instantaneous change here. It might be that true love has struck. It might be that your old foundations are being completely obliterated by a actual soulmate contract if you've had nothing but twin flames before romantically. Now, that's what I say. Go watch the videos in the description box defining. Start with Matt Kahn's. His is really good. It's over an hour, but it's really, really good. That's where I got the new definition from, that totally clarified. I hated the idea of soulmate and twin flame until he redefined it, which makes so much more sense. And of course, I've done a couple of videos and even super chats here on YouTube where we've talked about it. So those are the links below. But it could really be that this is something like you've never experienced before and you are grappling with that. The way I look at the Tower card is, imagine, I've said this plenty of times, when someone doesn't believe in spirits or ghosts, right? 40 years old, they're like, that paranormal stuff, that's all just claptrap, that's nothing. And then one day they see a ghost and they can't deny it. That entire mental structure dissolved in a second, right? In a split second, right? So I feel that abruptness of this, but this could be the bolt, the finger of God. Even in the Rider-Waite deck, those little squiggly dots, that's the Hebrew letter of Yod, finger of God. So the divine is in play here. It is a soulmate contract. Don't be shook by that. But with really the only major arcana card we're looking at here belonging to your soulmate partner, the Advocate here, that Hermit card, things are going to get shaken up very quickly here. From the outside looking in, we've got the Scorpio card. So there is something hidden about you two. Now maybe that's clandestine. Maybe you're both playing your cards emotionally very close to your chest. In other words, sort of covering your heart, kind of Four of Pentacles, Rider-Waite image there. But there is depth here. From the outside looking in, when people would view the two of you together, you'd be like, oh, I don't know what's going on there, but can you feel those two? Sort of like a power couple. It can also mean, because Scorpio is sex, money, and power, that you really have that depth and that richness, but also that sexual power together that could be tantric in nature if you take it in that direction. Remember, Scorpio is ruled by Hades, Lord of the Underworld, eldest of the Olympians, and therefore the wisest of the Olympians. He was eaten first by Kronos, so, you know, he kind of had the terrain of Kronos's internal organ system understood by the time the rest of them got there. So with that goddess Hecate, underworld goddess, queen of witches, goddess of the crossroads, that there's definitely something transformative and pivotal about the two of you, at least in this soul contract, whether it's reason, season, or lifetime. What's your destiny? Where are you both on the hero's journey of the path of true love, manifesting destiny from fate? You've got the Ten of Flames, the Hora, Hava Nagila, circular dance done at bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and Jewish weddings. I've been to all three of those things. They're a lot of fun. I do like a good bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, Jewish wedding. Half my family, my mother divorced my stepfather. My mother divorced my father, married her divorce lawyer, my stepfather, a Jewish lawyer from Long Island. What a shock! And it's just a love story, right? So this is definitely a celebration of a completion of desire, not that overburdened Ten of Flames we're so used to seeing. So you guys are at a completion. But it could be a joyful completion as you then wrap up your old business. Leave it behind you and step forward from this Ten of Flames to this Ace of Cups. Ah, gorgeous reading. Well, one last card down, at least for the Celtic cross spread. What's your outcome? Five of Cups. Stormy seas, which I do feel like is connected to this card of the Tower in the lesson position, Kali, the Awakening. That there's still some healing that needs to be done here. I mean, what's the point of a soulmate contract where you help each other heal if there's no more healing to do? Two enlightened masters brought together at the end of the journey. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it just doesn't seem very helpful to the rest of humanity, where it's more about the two of you are finding mastery together individually and contributing to each other's healing collectively. But do understand, storms do pass, right? So this is an emotional upset. This is something where, even if it's not an emotional upset, it's a change of emotion, right? Fives are numbers of change, not necessarily transformation. What's the difference? You take raw eggs, you put them in a frying pan, you turn them into scrambled eggs, they're no longer liquid, they're solid, but you can't go back. That's a transformation, the changing of form. Weather changes, right? It's sunny, and then it's rainy, and then it's foggy, and then it's sunny. The weather just shifts and changes. It doesn't necessarily transform. So this is a change of emotion, and I do feel like it could be, this is going to play itself out differently for whoever's watching this. This could very much be that you get struck by lightning and you really love each other, and it just upends your apple cart emotionally. And as an air sign, you might not like that. You might want to keep it in balance, but that will pass. That will pass. It can be that phase of infatuation that people would more align with the Two of Cups than the Five. But it feels like that part of this deception is going to contribute to this Five of Cups, the storm, at least in terms of really understanding that there are beliefs in play here that, of course, you're going to trigger each other, but you're going to trigger each other emotionally so that you can heal. And it does feel like it's this advocate who's going to create that safe space and really put compassion into action as they are doing that work for themselves right now. There's a lot of words, but there you go. Good. 3 more cards down. Kind of really loving that. I mean, I wish it was a lovelier card than the Five of Cups, but, you know, looking at that Three of Blades in the past, there's been a lot of focus here, and maybe there has been some heartbreak, some psychological healing work going on here in terms of romance, in terms of overcoming wounds of abuse, neglect, and codependency and loss. But it does feel like this is for at least you, my Libra, this is going to be kind of emotional for you as it progresses, and it might kick up some sediment from the bottom of the ocean in terms of your past fears and your deceptions coming to the fore. Very possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn to the Healing with the Angels Oracle, Doreen Virtue, and get you what is the healing angel that extends wings and hands to both of you individually to help you heal in this soulmate contract. Shall we? Breathe. My angels. Hi, please, 1 card in clarity. What is the healing angel available to this Libra collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, soulmate contract for June, July 2020 or timeless, involving this seeker archetype who is our Libra and their soulmate partner, the advocate, who is the healing angel offering their help. Listening, the angel of listening. There's a lot of conversation that's going to go down between the two of you who have not begun conversing already. I'm going to say that you have been through similar heartbreaks. Maybe the set dressing is different, but the theme is the same, and that you've both really focused on that in terms of your own healing to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I think you've brought each other together, the seeker and the advocate, to actually understand this wisely, but then also to bring compassion into action together. But remember, listening is part of compassion. Not to be so righteous in your point of view that you're just waiting for the other person to shut up so that you can talk, right? Like really honoring and giving them the love of being heard. Both ways. And it does feel like both ways that's going to play itself out. Remember to actually listen to each other. Yes, of course, listen to your guides, listen to your spirit, listen to your soul. But in terms of a soulmate contract, the two of you could be very verbal. 1, 2, 3. Well, like I said, you got 3 air cards there. That's not, by any means predominant. Let's see, 3 air, 1, 2, 3 water. So you've got a balance of air and water, 1 fire, 1 earth, and 2 major arcana cards. So yeah, you've got a pretty decent balance here, but you've got all 4 elements, right? Fire, earth, air, and water, and spirit. So you got all 5. So there is a balance that way. But remember that angel of listening. You really, 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 really need to find that balance of listening and sharing with each other to balance the air and the water. Yeah. Let's get you Whisper of Love from the Whisper of Love Oracle, from the higher selves of all involved. In other words, the higher self of you, my Libra seeker, and your soulmate partner advocate will both, the higher selves of them, 5th dimensional and above, give you a whisper of love, a bit of overview, a bit of inspiration or clarity. Breathe. That feels good. Please, this could be mine too. I'm Venus and Libra. Please, the higher selves of all involved, possibly my own included. I don't really see myself as a seeker here, but whatever. Please, 1 card in clarity. What is the Whisper of Love from the higher selves of all involved in this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, satisfying, sexual, soulmate contract for June, July 2020 or timeless? This is the one. No, that was 2. It's one of those 2. Please, what is the Whisper of Love from the higher self collective to these 2? Express love through gifts. I'm down with that. I'll make you bolognese. Express love through gifts. Giving a small token to someone expresses your love to them. Maybe a stuffed artichoke. I love to cook. I'm no chef, but I'm a really good cook. Express love through gifts, even if it's, hey, I was just thinking of you. I saw this movie. I was watching Netflix. I found this video. It reminded me of you. I just thought you'd get a kick out of it. Like that little ding, ding, particularly for Libras, you know. That's like, oh, it is the thought that counts. Thank you for thinking for me. Really, Guar? I wasn't expecting that, but how nice of you to think. You know what I mean? Listen, particularly if they send you a mixtape. Like it's 1985. Okay, you got one card down. One card left, I should say. A healing mantra card from Matt Kahn, the same one who does the video in the description box below. Soul Contracts, Twin Flames, and Soulmates Redefined. Really good vid. Go watch it. It'll be very educational for you. Plus, he's got these repeat after me's that are really helpful in healing. Lovely. So what this is going to be is a healing mantra. Doesn't matter who is watching this, the Libra Seeker or the Advocate Cross-Watcher. Whoever uses the mantra, not only will they begin their own healing process, but through the quantum entanglement of a soulmate contract, you'll be helping the other heal as well, even if you don't know each other's names. That's how this stuff works. That's why you have soulmates. You just might not have met them in physical form yet. And even if you have, and if you've known each other and you've done this dance before, this is still going to help the two of you heal and fulfill your contract. Nice deep breath. As I tune to and ask, the Ascended Masters of Soulmate Contracts, please, one card in clarity. What is the perfect healing mantra for this Libra collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, satisfying, sexual soulmate contract for June, July 2020, or timeless? That whether it is this Libra seeker or their soulmate partner advocate archetype, whoever gets it, maybe both of them do. What is the perfect healing mantra for them? Acknowledging apprehension. I had a client today that had this card. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. When I'm yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. Even if it's just a no for now. Now, isn't that a perfect yes-no thing for a Libra, right? You're going to weigh it out. You're going to feel it out here intuitively. Acknowledging apprehension. So when you're feeling apprehensive about this relationship, which I can understand with that Storm card, with the Tower card, with the Lesson card, the Advocate seems to be in hermit phase right now. I could understand the tension there, at least mentally. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I am unsure, it's always a no. When apprehension is acknowledged, you become aware of a constant back and forth between polarities. Should I or shouldn't I? Is he, isn't she? Is she, should we, shouldn't we? As this back and forth movement occurs, it can feel nearly impossible to make decisive, empowering choices, Libra. As you acknowledge any apprehension, recognize that it is either your heart trying to warn you of an old choice or pattern you're about to repeat, seeing that with that deception card there, or it is a sense of unworthiness that makes you unsure about how to step onto the biggest stage you dream of commanding. I think that's the one that you both have. I think that you're both afraid of getting hurt and being vulnerable and are a little unwilling, if not a lot of unwilling, to step onto this larger stage where you actually are vulnerable and find the person that you have been destined to be with since before you were even born. The power of discernment bubbles closer to the surface the more often your apprehensions are acknowledged. In other words, you don't push it down. You acknowledge, yeah, I'm a little apprehensive. Yeah, I don't know what to do, right? And it is needed to determine which of these two options is true. This mantra is ideal for resolving indecisiveness. Couldn't be better for a Libra. Balancing impulsive behaviors, Libra, 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 and trusting your instincts. When it's a yes, Nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. And remember that unsurety might just be for that day or that moment. You might change that later. Lovely read. Let's pop up the larger picture. I'll see what else presents itself. And then I'll give you the blessing. Cool, cool. Let's do this, my Libra friends. Nice deep breath. Magic clap. Ooh, that was a good one. Ooh, Biscandy. We start you off, Libra, as the seeker archetype. In the shadow attribute, inability to commit to a path once found. And I am getting sort of that, particularly with that apprehension card there. You two, once you find each other, there is going to be some apprehension on your part about committing to this person once you have found each other. But the light attribute might save you moment by moment on this, a thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. So if it's that thing of, I just want to see what happens. Like I have a hunger and a wisdom and a thirst for, well, I have a thirst to see whatever this is, sort of the mystical seeker part of that. And considering you have the Crone of Blades, the Aquarius card there, Ixchel, the Eagle Woman, that you are willing to pull back and pull up to see it from a higher chakric, a higher spiritual, a higher at least philosophical, mental point of view. Perhaps more egalitarian, more friendly, more humanitarian. And that might be how the two of you meet, considering you are dealing with an advocate archetype here. That humanitarian thing might be shared. But the shadow attribute, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Got a lot of that going on planet Earth 24/7 for centuries. But the light attribute inspires you to put compassion into action with the card of the Hermit, the wise one, she who rides alone. Both of you are in the air looking from a higher perspective. It feels like is more applying self-compassion or perhaps pulling back from the world to regain their equilibrium, their inspiration to put compassion into action. But do remember, we're dealing with you, my Libra, as a wisdom family archetype and your soulmate as an action family archetype. Archetypal family. So it really can be where you are a bit more on the slow roll and the advocate more on the charge, although they are in Hermit phase right now. There is that Ace of Cups at the bottom of this, though, that at the core of this relationship there is a seed of potential for great happiness, because there is great happiness within both of you and within everybody. Happiness is our true state of being when we embrace the wholeness that really we are, as we are meant to be in any given moment. Hard to believe, but nonetheless a spiritual, mystical truth that there's a real opportunity for a love to sprout here from a seed of an opportunity given the chance. But with that Three of Blades in the past, there's been a lot of focus, and I do kind of get with that acknowledging apprehension and that card of deception in the 6th position, that Four of Blades, that you've probably both been hurt before. I mean, if you're of a certain age, how can you not be? That maybe there's been some focus on relationships, focus on self-healing, focus on introspection, that might be triggering some of your apprehension here. That might be more mental from the amount of sword cards that I'm seeing here than instinctive, intuitive. And then, of course, moving into the 8 of Pentacles, the learner here in your crowning position, that you're both still learning, but learning through practical application. It feels like when the two of you meet, you should absolutely take it slow and in a balanced manner. But I'm also getting that there's something very hands-on, tactical, practical, tactile is the word I'm feeling here, where you two are going to learn a lot from each other in physical time and space when you are brought together. And if that doesn't happen immediately, I feel like that's going to happen relatively soon. Some kind of physical contact is going to be made, and that's going to trigger your deceptions that were in place before you ever met, if you have not met yet. Or at least your next physical encounter, if you do know each other, is going to bring up your warning bells. Am I being lied to? Am I being deceived? Where that deception might very well be self-imposed on both sides because of unfinished, unhealed wounds, emotional baggage, or maybe you're just picking up that no one's trusting anybody on planet Earth right now empathically. Everybody feels like they're being deceived, which is sort of true. So keep that in mind. That a 4, it's a minor arcana, it will pass, but certainly take some time to introspect and see where have I put the blindfolds on myself. In the position of the lesson here, well, I'm going to tell you, the lesson is either dissolved as a lightning bolt, or delivered as a lightning bolt, or the lesson is going to be about that being struck by lightning and something completely reduced to its foundation so that it can be rebuilt. Perhaps that deception being struck by lightning, really getting, oh my God, I had to be with all of those rogues and villains in order to make my way to this advocate. But that doesn't mean that those deceptions earlier, those fears weren't at some point very, very healthy boundaries to protect the innocence of your heart, but that serve you no longer, right? Like certain agreements, I'm through with love, I'll never love again, I'll never trust again, and that was necessary, like a band-aid or a cast, right? Or stitches to patch you up, but now you might have to really let that go, and it feels like it's going to happen all at once. This could be a kiss of true love situation where all of that just blown out of the water, but then afterwards, right, the deception, the fear will rise up again. And from the outside looking in, the two of you look like a power couple, but sort of a, I don't want to say a dark power couple. I mean, this isn't Hogwarts, but it's definitely that deeper, richer money, sex, power, other people's resources. Could be a very sexual relationship in terms of its depth, but also its intensity of emotion. May not be so outwardly expressed, but is that quiet, slow burn that eventually can burn down the village and nobody knows until it's too late. And with that 10 of flames, sort of an interesting metaphor to segue into for hopes and fears, but there really is the opportunity for you here to both complete some desires, some things that you wanted to do, that 10 of flames, to really celebrate and enjoy even your past horrific, traumatic experiences, because they brought you together in a way that you have so much more to offer each other in terms of wisdom and knowledge and compassion and action. And yet still that leads to the 5 of Cups, which could be very emotionally disorienting, very emotionally upsetting, as everything that you once thought and had might have categorized as a Libra will do, understood and in balance, wrapped in tissue and put away, where all of that stuff comes back up and you realize you have made some perhaps some well thought but some hasty conclusions about life and love in general, and all of that comes up. I do see a good cry here between the two of you, but I could easily see this being in each other's arms and really holding each other through the emotional release, the emotional change, the alchemy of fear into love, of what are they showing me here? A fortified structure now opening up to the innocence of vulnerability, right? So like from Fort Knox to an open heart revealing the treasure within. Keeping in mind that the healing angel here is listening, that there's going to be some conversations here where you're really going to listen with your hearts more than your heads, right? Really giving each other that space to really listen to not just what is being said, but to really hear the pain of each other's hearts and the willingness to love and the understanding of why you're just not going to rush into this, that you're going to do this in a happy, healthy, right? It's a happy, healthy, wealthy and wise soulmate contract. And certainly to express love through gifts. Giving a small token to someone expresses your love to them. That might be through text messages. That might be through the simplest little things that really you light each other up that way. Particularly, I have a feeling that advocate, putting compassion into action, just be like, I was just feeling you out of nowhere and I just want to make sure you're okay, right? That can be very cloying and very codependent, but I don't get that feeling here with this advocate, particularly from that place of that wise one, that they're really learning how to learn and be compassionate and love themselves, right? So keep in mind, there's going to be moments of apprehension here, but it's really not about the two of you. It's about past stuff, really feeling that 3 of Blades in your past position. But when it's a yes, nothing can stop me, when I'm unsure, it's always a no, that at least gives you a healthy rule of thumb to measure your moment by moment process by, in terms of when you are ready and when you are not, as opposed to whether this contract, this person, this relationship is worth it or not. Wow. wow, they just showed me the end of that, right? Is it a yes, is it a no in terms of, do I feel unsure? Do I feel like it's a yes and nothing can stop me? Rather than, is this person, this relationship going to hurt me or not? Can you feel the difference? It's a big difference. So... May the Libra Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their soulmate contracts for June, July 2020 or timeless, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may listen, that they may express their love through gifts, and that they may acknowledge their apprehension as they move forward in this relationship, helping each other heal as soulmates, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may love, that they may become the best that they can be, fulfilling their roles in the divine plan, fulfilling their soulmate contract, and fulfilling their role in the divine plan for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. May we all be so blessed. Thank you for watching my Libra Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. My pleasure reading for you as always. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and feel free to comment in the comment section below. I always do like a good comment. That being said, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of June, July, and really the rest of summer, though. I will keep putting out content as I go. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.